Welcome, everybody. We're here at the Digilogue Days,
Hey,
and this is the Artist Discovery Podcast. I'm Taquam, and here we have,
Key Royal.
yes, and today we're kind of going to get tapped in a little bit into about their career and kind of, put you onto some new music, new artists, catch a
Definitely.
vibe. So,
Yes, all Royal vibes.
yes. So, before we begin, can you kind of give the family a little bit of an introduction of who you are, where you're from?
Yes. So I'm Key Royal. I'm a singer-songwriter lyricist from Baltimore, Maryland. I've been actively pursuing music since 2019. I've been in music my whole life, but I've actively been pursuing it as a career since 2019.
Okay.
And yeah, I just love music. I just love everything about it. It's therapy for me, and I feel like it's my calling. Just to help people and heal people.
Yeah. Did you do music since you were like at a young
Yes.
age? Yeah.
So like my family found out I could sing at the age of 3. So my uncle
Wow.
started vocally training me at 3. And then at 11 I wrote my first song. I was doing gospel at the time, so I wrote my first gospel song at 11.
Okay,
And
we
as
love
the years-
gospel over here. I love
Yes,
that.
so that's how it started. And then I was in theater. I was a theater kid, so I was in theater and choir. So I was just always exposed to music in some form or some way.
Okay. What motivated you to write at a young age?
Um, I feel like even then it was always a voice for me. I was, I feel like I was outgoing, but I was kind of to myself as a kid, and it was easier for me to write my feelings than to really vocalize them and speak them. So that was my way of, doing that was through songwriting, and just gospel was. I was surrounded by gospel. My grandma was really into like gospel music, and would always play like CeCe Winans, Donnie McClurkin, and like all of those. So it just came naturally, like for me to go that route.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your experience as like a theater kid or even being in the gospel choir kind of shaped your musical style today?
Definitely.
Music now?
Theater I feel like helps a lot with performance.
Yeah.
When it comes to performing because of everything I learned when I was in theater, and then also confidence. Like I still get nervous, like and
Really?
I still have anxiety and stuff when I
Okay,
gotta
I don't
perform.
see it. I don't see it.
Yeah, like
Okay.
it still gets hard, but I've learned to navigate that and just channel that and use that to propel me when I am performing. But theater definitely has helped with the performance, and choir has helped me with my melodies and harmonies. I do a lot of melodies and harmonies in my music, as far as my backing vocals. So that being in choir has helped me with that ear to learn the different harmonies I can build.
I guess taking it back to gospel, I know like your music does kind of really, it's kind of known for being kind of motivational and inspire a lot of people.
Yes.
Do you feel that that kind of inspires you to create songs for others, even though it's also helping yourself out in the
Yes.
process?
Yep. I feel like it is with me doing it, treating it as like a gospel, my music as like a gospel. It may not always be directly about spirituality or anything like that, but it is still gospel to me. I feel like it's still a prophecy in some way, prophesying in some way, and yeah, I really just incorporate that with my songwriting, and I feel like when I write how I feel, other people in the world are bound to feel the same way and like go through the same types of things, even if it's not the same way. They're gonna go through it. So I feel like I'll share that. It takes a lot to be that vulnerable to put yourself out there and share that with people, but I do feel like it does help people, and me helping myself and helping others. It's just like a win-win.
Do you also write for others?
I haven't started writing for others yet. I do
Okay.
have songs that I have written that I know that I would rather give to somebody else, but it's just finding those placements and those artists who, feel the song the way I wrote it and would want to have that song as their own. Yeah.
I can see some of your songs even being in like a film or TV show.
Yes.
Things like that too.
That's
so
the goal.
yeah. It's the goal, yeah.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah, I think sometimes matching that perfect song for like a scene, it really does just carry a whole project.
Yes.
And I think like your lyrics are so your lyrics are very like real and like raw that it almost it just makes sense that it could fit into a TV or film type of project. So yeah, I would love to see that. That'd
Yeah.
be really cool.
And
I-
since you said that, I would say stay tuned because there's definitely something like that coming.
Yeah, for sure. Do you find that having placements and things like that is something that you want to explore more of? And like
Definitely.
even writing for others? in other projects for film and TV?
Definitely. Like,
Yeah.
I would love to have my music in TV and film and get some sync deals. I actually have like a friend that has a web series on YouTube, an LGBTQ web series called Tangled Affections, and she
Okay.
used some of my music behind the scenes.
Oh, no.
There's also a movie out called Out with the Old. It's on Tubi.
Okay.
And my music was also on that on that film. So I have had those parts in that. I helped write a soundtrack for a show that used to be on YouTube. So which was had my music behind film. So I have had some experiences with that.
How do you kind of, I guess, approach the creative process of blending your music with, I guess, visually telling a story overall? How would you?
I would say creatively, how my process usually starts is like I'm usually sitting, just sitting chilling, or something will come up, or a feeling or emotion will come up, and it'll trigger like, okay, I need to get this out. And the way I do that is, either I use my phone now. I still say pen and pad, but I use my phone more, my notes, and I'll just find a beat. A lot of times I'll find a beat and I'll write. I don't do a lot of writing without a beat. But then I'll just start writing about how I feel. Sometimes it starts as a melody. It starts with like a do 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 do, or like a I'm humming things out and finding a melody first, and then I'll put the words to that melody. So it all depends like what space I am in, creatively or just mentally at that time to build that track.
Okay. And I guess taking it back to you being from Baltimore.
Yes.
I'm also from Maryland.
Shout out to Baltimore.
Shout out to the whole
Shout out
DMV.
to Maryland.
The whole DMV. Do you feel like, I feel like Baltimore has a pretty rich musical, I guess, landscape.
Yes.
Do you find that like being from Baltimore, it's contributed to a lot of your growth as an artist and the sound of your music overall?
I will say it has, and I didn't realize it as much as I have this year with me performing a lot more in my city, and going out a lot more, and then also performing more in general. And I was traveling back and forth to DC a lot, so I made some connections out there. So I have found that a lot of that Baltimore like swag, a lot of that Baltimore like aesthetic and like sound is in my music. Of course, the accent, I can't really get away from that.
Yeah.
But a lot of that culture from Baltimore is in my music, and then I really have realized that, and it has made me grow to love my city so much more, because it's just those subtle things you don't realize that you carry with you until you realize like, wow, like this really has shaped me.
Right. It's ingrained in you.
Yeah.
Literally. Okay, so I guess because we're almost running out of time.
Okay.
I like to ask you one special question.
Okay.
If you could collaborate with any artist on your maybe a film soundtrack or something, who would it be and why? And how do you see that contributing to the theme of rebirth after loss? Because I know you kind of touch on that in your music a little bit.
I would say film-wise, I would say artists. I honestly would say Alicia Keys.
Okay.
She has been an inspiration for me for a very long time. She has been one of my biggest inspirations. Her, Chris Brown, J. Cole, it's a list, but I feel like she would just bring that. She has such a cinematic value of her, and like such a message of self-care and self-love, and rebuilding yourself through things, that I feel like she would complement that very well and be able to help me push that message so much more because of her melodies, because I basically grew up on her music and just really grew to love her and her sound. I feel like we would merge well on a track like that, like on a tape like that.
Yeah. Wow. I love Alicia Keys. Do you have like a specific favorite song of hers?
I would say I like No One.
Huh?
I like No One, but I really like Teenage Love Affair, which was like an old school one, but that was like my favorite one.
That's a good one. That's a good one. So, one last question. Where can we find you? On socials? Or do you have any shows coming up? Things like that?
So you can find me at Key Royal Music on everything. I kept it simple, KEROYAL Music on everything. And then as far as project-wise, I have a big project dropping next year. It is a mixture of a film.
Top of the year? Or?
Probably middle of the year, probably close to my birthday.
When's your
Between
birthday?
top of the April 7th.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. We'll be on the lookout.
Yes, so it'll be a short film and a soundtrack actually focused on grief. So that is coming next year, and I'm putting a lot of work into that.
Okay, we love that. All right, well, thank you, DigiFam. We'll see you in the next episode.